What I'm doing right now is opening up for the first time a wax casting of a figure that I've been working on. So you can see the mother mold here is already cracked open. It's just a plaster mother mold, no fabric in the plaster, just a nice good old-fashioned heavy mother mold. So let's go ahead and break that open. As you can see, you want to make sure to always have your mother mold at least an inch thick. What's nice about these old classical techniques here is it's cheap. So even though you can buy a lot of different type of plastics for your mother mold and your silicone, sometimes just regular old plaster, learning how to work with it in a thick state gives you a nice rigid solid mother mold, and really cheap, probably around $5 at the most. Let's see how this goes here. I'm gonna go ahead and slowly see if I can loosen this casting. Luckily, the plaster is still wet, so any wax that trailed off onto the mother mold should release. Okay, that loosened up nicely. Let's go ahead and gently release. And here is the silicone mold. Again, what I do is use a first coat of a good silicone, and then I go over it with a cheaper silicone, a silicone 1, regular caulking silicone. And I've already casted the microcrystalline wax, so let's see how that goes. And always take your time when opening a new mold, and when it's the first time, you might have to cast it again just because you're learning how to open up that particular shape for the first time. And again, that's what's always a problem-solving issue with sculpture is even though you've done a mold, every shape is different, and every shape is going to have its own way that it wants to be sculpted or molded or opened. So far, so good. Okay, let me go ahead and do a zoom in. So far, so good. I'm going to want to be very careful with the leg. You can see how that silicone goes. And there will be air bubbles and all kinds of scarring and movement with the slush coating of the wax, air pockets, air bubbles like you see there. But overall, pretty good casting. You know, again, what's nice about art or fine art sculpture is the process continues to influence the shape. So let that happen, but remember, everything can be repaired. Got a little air pocket underneath the chin, but all that can be resculpted or recasted if you want to, but I like working with wax. So to me, that just gives me more time to work with the piece. Okay, let me see if I can go ahead and keep opening. I like to just loosen it and allow the wax just to release from the surface of the silicone. There we are. Got some air pocketing over here, which is not a problem at all. I can repair that. And the hands are still just a mitten, so I will get some detail carving in there. I like to do wax work with some of that detail just because of how delicate oil-based clay is. And you can always change a wax form because you can sculpt wax. But here we are, a fairly decent first casting of a standing figure. You always want to store your mold or your silicone in your mold because you don't want that shape to warp. I'm pretty happy with this cast. Again, I'm going to have a good time repairing and smoothing and possibly adding some surfacing and texture and maybe some detail, carving out some of the area down here for the feet. But overall, a decent casting, and I hope you all enjoyed it and have a chance to work on your projects and to continue to create art for yourself and for your friends and family. Thank you very much.